morning. Welcome back to the Tavern and the Oasis, coming to you from inside the greenhouse on December 11th, 2021. That's 12/11/21. That's another panadrome. It's a whole month of panadromes. I think this is the last panadromes we get for 100 years in an entire month. I saw that coming. Started in 2010, I think. October was a panadrome month in 2010. And we've been varying it all through this early part of this century. For those of you who are old enough to remember the beginning of this century, that started out with so much promise in 2000 and was very quickly demolished in 2001 with the, the thing, man, the thing, where, people with box cutters did the thing. And it quickly progressed down dark rabbit holes to culminate in this exciting ecstasy we have now of this new thing, with this new waxing of things. Yeah, I'm playing with words here because I kind of like to keep this on YouTube. You know what I'm talking about, for those of you who bothered to come in here and look. And, well, we've got a lot going on, a lot happening. I've got some things going on in the greenhouse. I got spinach, I got lettuce, I've got bok choy, which are growing quite nicely. I've got other seeds started, see what happens. I was away from the Oasis for the last 5 days, and in the last 5 days, I left, Sunday last week, and greenhouse temperature, I've been working all weekend to get it way up, as far as not just the air temperature, that fluctuates. I was working on the soils for all of my potted plants, my new bed over here. And I'd had the soils for the potted plants up around 12, 14 degrees. I had the soil for the bed up around 8, 9 degrees. It's really hard to get it warmed up because it's a lot of soil to get warmed up. I'll probably get it up to 12 to 14 before I'm out of here this week. But I'm not out of here till Monday, so it's all good. I got 2 more days of running the heat in here, getting everything dealt with. But after 5 days of it, come back. First day I got here, it was 0 degrees yesterday. It was freezing everywhere outside. The greenhouse was still holding a temperature of 3 degrees, and this was at 9 o'clock in the morning when I got here. So the greenhouse is holding a temperature of 3 degrees. The soil temperatures throughout the room were 3 to 5 degrees, depending on which ones I tested. That meant they held pretty well for the most part. They got cold. It might have inhibited some of the some of the seeds from starting, but as I get the soil temperature warmed back up, it's like the big thing is I'm discovering with growing in the greenhouse is controlling the soil temperatures. And the air temperature is important too, but the soil temperatures are really important. You got to get the soil temperatures up. So I'm focusing my heater. I've got a nice little propane heater. I'm focusing it against the beds, underneath the potted plants, and other areas to try and get those heated up and warm, and get everything running the way it needs to be running. So this weekend here, no longer hunting. Hunting season's over, which is a shame. It's sad. No hunting season for me this year, or no deer in this year's hunting season. But maybe next year. I did learn a little bit more about hunting this year than I did last year. And unfortunately, I have to teach it to myself. And the one fortunate thing is that I'm not dependent upon hunting yet for my survival. If I had to depend on hunting for my survival, I would probably go pretty hungry, which I'm really grateful I don't have to depend on it yet. One day we may have to. That's going to be a scary time when we actually have to depend on hunting for survival, because, well, there's 25, 30,000 people in this valley here, and the land out here can't support that many hunters. It's an unfortunate truth. The reason we have a population as high as we do in the world is because of our agricultural practices that everyone condemns. Everyone condemns the agricultural practices tremendously, but yet they continue to go to the store and buy the meat and the produce that they consume on a daily basis, or they buy those boxed goods and those prepackaged foods and everything else that they consume on a daily basis. It's like you're in a massive world of discontinuity. You know, your brain is disassociated against what the decisions you're making. It's like you're just being, I don't know how to describe it. Cognitive dissonance, that's the word I'm looking for. They're in a massive state of cognitive dissonance. It's like big ag farms are evil. Big agricultural farms are evil. Big animal farms are evil. They're evil, 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 but yet they go to McDonald's and buy burgers that are created in those farms. You know, the beef is grown there, the beef is slaughtered there, the big giant slaughterhouses are evil. It's like, yeah, I get that. Problem is we have, well, I don't know if we've killed 1 billion people yet with this jab thingy, but they're working towards it. So we still have, as far as I know, 6 billion people on the planet, approximately, give or take. But with that kind of population, we can't support that without the large-scale agriculture and meat farming and animal husbandry. We can't support that population without it. And people are trying to stop all that. And it's like, oh, it's all well and good, stop it, but what are you going to replace it with? Are you going to replace it with your own? Are you going to be the person who goes and creates his own farm and raises his own animals to support his family? Because, you know, it takes a few animals. People don't seem to comprehend how much it takes to, let's take the average family of 4, for instance. You know, if they have meat in their diet, they have plants and vegetables in their diet, you know, they have a good rounded diet. Well, what's it take to support that family? How much meat does it take? Well, it takes about a cow a year to do that. Maybe 2 cows a year if you got growing boys. That's just the meat. Then you want the fresh fruits and vegetables. Now you're talking, well, I'm on an 1/8 of an acre here, and you know, I'm using half of that, so I've got less than an 1/8 of an acre. So 1/16 of an acre is dedicated to growing stuff. And on that, with the practices that I've been working through over the last 2 years, I'm just getting to the point where this next year I think I will produce enough to supply my family with the foodstuffs throughout the winter and fresh stuff during the summer growing season. So Mother Nature will provide you, but you actually have to put in a fair chunk of work. But I can't have animals. Well, I don't have room for animals. I'm trying to make room for chickens where I can have eggs, but I've got to make sure I get myself some meat hens, some hens that lay eggs and are good for meat, so I get double duty. The problem is unless I get a rooster to go with them, I will have to buy new chickens every 3 years. And who knows what's going to happen to the supply in the coming years. You know, we're already seeing shortage of supplies everywhere. You've got problems with next year, as I've been telling people off and on for quite some time, is that you need to be prepared, be stocked up, get stocked up, buy everything you need. Food stocks are going to be short next year, and not nobody, there's very few people are actually listening to me. Which, well, so be it, that's their choices. But we are going to see a lot happen in the first quarter next year when they start truly announcing the upcoming crop shortages for 2022, because there's a shortage of fertilizer, which is barely being talked about. You know, big problem is there's a shortage of urea, which is used in fertilizer, and many, many other products out there. And that's going to create problems all over across the board. And the ecological, economical, how's it called? Environmental regulations, the environmental regulations that have been put in place over the last 30 years, especially on diesel engines, to make them less polluting. And I understand, we want to make them less polluting, but they made it dependent upon a chemical that is dependent upon urea. And of course, over the last 15, I'd say it's been 15 years, right around 2005, pretty much everything got shipped to China to be produced. And China became the major manufacturer and producer of urea, shipping it to the world, and now they've cut off that supply to the world. We made big mistakes, folks. Depend on China. Alright, I think I've rambled on enough here, and I'll just throw this video up all by its lonesome, and maybe at the end we'll give it a little bit of stuff in the Oasis with some good country music, maybe a few minutes of country music at the end. Anyway, that's all I've got. I could probably go on. I'm in a mood this morning to just keep rambling, so I won't. We'll call it at that. That's all I got for you. Take care. Bye-bye. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove this bench from the greenhouse, and I'm going to build another box like the one that's just off camera. And I'm going to build a bed. It's going to be a little shorter bed, but it's still going to be a nice bed in here to plant some plants in the greenhouse. And since it's a nice, miserable, wet day out, it's a good day for being inside the greenhouse doing some stuff, because the greenhouse is toasty, toasty warm at the moment compared to everything else. So first thing I do is replace the legs on here, and then cut this piece off and get to town. So,
if I had my life to live again, I go back to the start and press resend. I'd make real sure to keep well away from you. I'd run from you with all my might. Such a long way till you're out of sight. If I started again, I'd rather be without you. Now don't you tell me that you want to do it again. Let's do it again. Took way too long for it to finally end. No, it won't ever end. I don't even want you standing next to me. It's way too long for eternity. Now don't you tell me, honey, that you want to go round again. Now don't you tell me that you want to do it again. Let's do it again. Took way too long for it to finally end. No, it won't ever end. I don't even want you standing next to me. It's way too early for eternity. Now don't you tell me, honey, that you want to go round again. I'll catch a small train to the journey's end. I'll climb back a boat and I'll ride it again. I'll close my eyes and hear the conductor's cry. You can just hear him cry. Hold aboard, he says, to the journey's end. We stop at no stations till we go round the bend. I got no ticket, but I have to ride it through. Now don't you tell